What's going on, guys? I'm joined by Yianni Kourakis. Yianni is the sports director and sportscaster for WPRI-TV. Thank you for joining us, Yianni, and congratulations on winning this award.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, Yianni, what was your career path like on your way to the position you're in now? Did you always know that you wanted to be in this industry?
I did, and I knew at a pretty early age, even in high school, when I was writing for the school newspaper and doing the morning announcements. And I went to University of Maryland for broadcast journalism and graduated from there. So I pretty much knew the path. I did the traditional small market, moved your way up, and now I've been doing it 14 years. I graduated in '07 from Maryland. Feels like it's flown by. So yeah, I've been lucky to do this for a living and currently doing it where I'm from here in New England and Rhode Island and covering teams that I grew up rooting for. So that's been a pleasure.
Awesome. And what would you consider to be your favorite part of your job?
I think going to the games is still the best. As the sports director and main anchor, I'm in the studio a lot, but my favorite thing is broadcasting before and after a big game. And something I missed the most over the last year during the pandemic is being on a sideline or on a court or by the ice and feeling that energy.
Right.
And then right when the game ends, let's say in the 10 o'clock hour, jumping on the news at 11, or if we did a post-game show,
right,
and pretty much just digesting what we all just saw. So I would say being at big games and covering them on site are my favorite parts of the job.
Awesome. And this could be something tangible or intangible, but what would you consider to be the highlight of your career thus far? And you don't need to answer very quick. This is always the hardest question for most people to answer because it's hard to think about. But
I would say the highlight has been covering the Patriots. I grew up a big Patriot fan, and I've covered them for 8 seasons. So I went to 4 Super Bowls, and 4 of those Super Bowls were incredible.
right.
You look at the Seahawks Super Bowl with Malcolm Butler's interception. Yeah. You look at the Patriots coming back from 28-3. Then their loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then coming back and Brady and Belichick winning their 6th at the time over the LA Rams. And
right
now that the Patriots were bad last year and they're retooling now, I can sort of step back and with Brady off to Tampa and be like, wow, that may be the best sports dynasty there ever was over the course of 20 years. And I had a privilege to cover a big part of it.
Right.
And still do with Belichick there. Brady obviously is gone. So I think, when I tell my grandkids one day, what I did for a living, though, covering the Patriots will probably be atop the list.
Yeah, that must be incredible. Like you said, one of the maybe the most incredible dynasty that we've ever seen in sports, especially because it's so hard to do in the NFL and repeat.
Yeah.
I must say, though, I am a Giants fan, so I'm not too upset about that run. We're okay with that. I think every other fan base is pretty.
You're the only one. You're the only ones who have the trump card and
exactly.
And 2-0 against us in Super Bowls. Yeah.
Exactly. But that is incredible to hear, and I couldn't imagine, especially being from that area and growing up supporting those teams, to be able to cover their success. Then, so what is the best piece of advice you can give someone who's thinking about entering this industry or being a sportscaster, being a sports writer, just entering the sports media industry?
So I teach a class at the University of Rhode Island, and the advantage the kids have nowadays in comparison to when I was coming up is anyone can do anything because they have the platform through YouTube, through social media, to get a podcast out there, a YouTube show, to blog. The internet obviously is massive and widespread. So There's no reason you can't get your name out there, and getting that first job is the hardest, but you almost need to pretend you're in the minor leagues, so to speak, and start a show. And maybe you're not very good and you and your buddy aren't getting a ton of listeners, and that's to be expected, but you're getting the reps and you're getting better. And then once you get to the big leagues or get into the actual profession, you're comfortable in that spot. So I think take advantage of what technology is offering us right now. Start a YouTube channel, start a podcast, start your own blog, get out there on social media, and hey, you're a Giants fan or a Patriots fan, react to the game right when it's over like you would if you were covering the team, just to experience what's that like. So, and then obviously a big piece of advice is networking. Every teacher you have, every internship you have, knock on those doors, someone who's
Right.
helping those people coming up, they should be willing to help you, and then see where it goes from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that advice, Yanni. Last thing, if you want to shout anyone out who helped you win this award or leave us with any closing remarks we didn't touch on so far in this interview, go ahead and do that now.
Oh yeah, well, everyone at my station, my colleagues. So this was for what, calendar year 2020. So my colleagues Maury Hirschgordon and Rosie Langello and JP Smallins and Ruthie Polinsky, who has since departed, because as you know, and I'm sure people are telling you this as you're interviewing all these winners, it was a difficult year to
Right.
produce sports content
Right.
during a pandemic. So we had to get creative. There was 2-3 months without sports games at all.
Yeah.
So we really had to go through our Rolodex and line up interviews and sort of adjust the way that we were covering sports. We did a lot of, we created a segment of people sending us their, crazy trick shots and stuff from their driveways, just to get something that felt like the community was involved in sports. So just adjusting to everything on the fly. So yeah, I guess I would just thank my colleagues at my station, my managers and my bosses. Because even though sports wasn't the biggest topic, obviously during a worldwide pandemic, they still allocated time for us and knew that, we would churn out some good content and enterprise some stories. So, which we did. So it was a difficult year. We're now getting back to normal, obviously, somewhat normal.
Right.
And hopefully we'll all be on the sidelines and in the stands with jam-packed houses soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Yanni, for jumping on this interview with me, and congratulations on winning this award.
Thanks so much.